So my son actually bought me this book here for Christmas. It's Miracles by C.S. Lewis, and it's been an amazing read. And it really is a miracle story happening here before our eyes. You know, my prayer at the beginning of this year was to bring things into alignment. And OMG, is God making sure things come into alignment. You know, I was just sitting here reflecting over this last month, and you know, when you see yourself, like, you look back, hindsight 2020, right? You see yourself leveling up. You know, when I first came to faith over 12 years ago now, you know, my family thought I was crazy and they thought, like, what is going on? Because they're all a bunch of atheists, and bless them. I still love them, of course. They're my family. But it was time to level up. It was a season of growth. And they had to be okay to let me go. And I had to be okay with the cost of not having them so close in my life anymore. And I've just gone through another season like that with our local church family. And so I'm not going to get into the details of it all, but it's like it's an opportunity here now to level up, to play a bigger game. And sometimes when you level up, you've got to weigh the cost. There's always a cost. There's always a sacrifice, right? And so when you look at things and you go and say, play this game in a bigger, better way, is it worth the cost? And the answer to that question here is 1,000,000,000% yes, it is worth the cost. Because what we're creating here is an ecosystem. What we're creating here is an amazing community. Now, I'm going to bring out my business partner and my dear friend now and my mentor, Joshua Phelps, out to the stage here in just a second for him to be able to share the details of this. But I just want to spend here 5 minutes with you now, just painting the vision. Now, I want you to picture this space. In 12 months from now, it is our mission to go and have at least 500 millionaires. In 2 years from this now, we want to have 1,000 millionaires come and join us. Drop a one in the comments if you want to claim that, if you want to declare that, it'd be one of those 1,000 millionaires. I have been working on this journey since 2009. I have been successful myself, but it's time to go now be successful with the community, because it's much more fun when we get to win together and we can go further, faster together, as Dr. Joseph likes to talk about. So the wealth creation triangle that you'll hear me talking about a lot as we move forward here, because I truly believe we have all of the pillars here to be very, very successful. We just have to claim it, we have to declare it, and we have to go pay the cost, whatever it is that it is required to do that, whether it be your time, energy, or money. Everything comes at a sacrifice, but it is bloody worth it. And so this wealth triangle that we're going to be talking about a lot here, it starts off with this foundational pillar. And this foundational pillar is our attitude. It is our mindset. It is the spaces of how we operate. You know, if you've ever seen Dr. Joseph McClenden's little dance, you know, as I think, as I do, as I do, as I feel, as I feel, as I have. We have to be it before we become it, right? And we need to embody that spirit. And you've got to realize that as our human psychology of this conversation, in the health and wellness space, in this space, we are walking, talking skin bags full of human emotion. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. So everything leads into that. We've got to get our thinking, we've got to get our feeling, we've got to get this thing in right so we can get this thing right. We can get our hearts right so we can get this right. It's all about alignment. So that's why the foundational pillar here for this wealth triangle is mindset. And guess what? We've got a brilliant product called Mindset Pro that you're going to see us talk a lot about in the coming days, with a partnership with Josh Phelps and Dr. Joseph McClendon, where we get to bring faith and science together for the first time that I've ever seen it done this way. And I'm absolutely blessed to actually be the player behind the scenes who has made this introduction possible. And so this, once again, is just everything coming into alignment. The pieces on the chessboard are all lined up, and we're playing chess here, not checkers. So that's the foundational pillar that we need to make sure we've got established. We need to get rid of our stinking thinking. We need to get this mindset right so we can come into this space with gratitude, because it doesn't matter what you do online. If you're doing it out of a space of lack, if you're doing it out of a space of scarcity, if you're doing it out of a space of desperation, guess what? People can sense that. It's called magnetic attraction. or magnetic repulsion. These are all laws of physics, the laws of the universe, right? So we've got to operate out of a space where we 100% believe in ourselves, we 100% believe in the product, we 100% believe in the leadership, we 100% believe in the company and the industry, and make sure we tick all those boxes for whatever it is we're representing. So we're coming from a space of grounded posture, passion, confidence, and belief. That's that magnetic piece. Now, the second part to this pillar is our financial freedom space. Now, I don't know about you. I don't know what your story's like. You may have had it a lot easier than me. But I had a horse jump in my neck when I was 26. I was put on a disability pension by the time I was age of 32. And I've had to go through the school of hard knocks. I'm not qualified. I haven't been to university. I've learned through everything, through trial and error, and failing forward fast, and figuring it all out, embracing the suck conversation. And I know when I can operate out of space of abundance, out of joy and peace, that I'm no longer stressed about how to pay the rent, how to pay the food, how to pay the school fees, how to pay in the cost of living crisis that we find ourselves in, and that increasing pressure that we find ourselves in. I talk to people time and time and time again. They're attracted to the opportunity. They're attracted to the product. They're attracted to the freedom this space have to offer. But this journey from $0 to $10,000 a month is the hardest, messiest, transformational journey you'll ever be on your life. And you cannot do it alone. I truly believe you need a community that has got winners in it to be able to help you pull you up by the bootstraps and kick your ass with love when needed, but also give you the grace and the compassion and the truth with love to be able to establish that culture of generosity where we're running together. And so we've got all those elements here. And what we've got with our AI trading bot opportunity, and if you're new to this and you're hearing this for the first time, please make sure that you reach out to the person who's invited you to this call. If that is me, let's have a chat directly after this call, because you've got to have a look at this AI trading bot by Aurum. I have literally made over $15,000 with this product from the partner program. You have to be very, very clear. I'm an affiliate of this product. I'm not a financial advisor, and I'm just educating and guiding people on this journey. But this product alone, it stands on its own, and it's multiplying our dollars, making our dollars compound from 10 to 17% per month. So like what we've done with the math models, when the math lines up, and this is very much a hypothetical model here, but let's say I put $10,000 in 4 months, I'm seeing that getting 100% return on investment, and we're doubling it, and away we go. But there's also got this amazing partner program attached to it, where we're able to get this residual income and all these bonuses. And from that, I've made about $15,000 in just 26 days. And what I'm about to share with you now is what I call the health side of this triangle. And so I'm going to bring Josh up to talk about the details of this product, because I am a representative of health. Look at me, I'm 50 kilos overweight. I've worked on a lot of health around this. I've worked on a lot of health around my spiritual and my heart health and my relational health and my emotional health. Now it's time to get my physical health in base. Put a 2 in the chat if you're like me. You've neglected your physical health because out of desperation, out of making sure that you're operating to put food on the table, and your health has become the last thing that you look after. But now you're at your 30s, you're at your 40s, you're at your 50s, you're at your 60s, you're at your 70s, whatever age it is you're looking at, and you're having a wake-up call like I am and going, if we don't have our health, we have nothing. And I truly believe I'm bringing my A game here today, not to convince you, maybe to compel you, but we're going to share you some amazing stories to do just that, right? Because stories compel and facts tell. You need both. We need the emotion, but we also need the logic. So I'm going to bring up Mr. Joshua Phelps here to unpack what we've come across here, a product called Ollie Life. Now, I personally got my P90 just yesterday. I put it through the paces. Now, it's PMF technology that we're going to unpack here with you today. And the results I've noticed straight away. I got on it at 3:00 in the afternoon yesterday, normally at my slump time, like when I want to go and have a siesta type time. It's time for a nap. Someone else just got their P90 right today too. Well done, Gene. So I tried it out. I turned it on, and I noticed a noticeable change in my energy levels straight away. My beautiful wife, she's suffering suffering from menopause pain and all that at the moment, she too has noticed a noticeable change in her pain and in her energy levels. And we've only used it twice in 2 days. My son has MS. He's now putting it through the paces too. And our boys are noticing it. And so it's become a real family, experiment, if you will. But I'm on a mission to get my health right this year. Drop a 1 in the comments if you're with me, to not only get your health right, but to get your wealth right and to get your purpose right. And let's go create this wealth creation triangle together as a community that is running the race together, that is winning the race together. In our Aurum team alone, I've seen over 50 people rank up within their first couple of weeks. We've got people hitting some serious ranks already within the first month. But what I'm about to show you now just blows me away. And I'm going to get Josh to unpack it. But in 6 days, I have personally made over 6,000 US dollars. Now, combined in 26 days, I have made over 20,000 US dollars. Now, I don't share this to brag. I share this to inspire. I share this to lead. If I can do it, a person who's a high school dropout, a person who worked on cattle stations and horse studs. Yes, I've been doing this since 2009, and I've figured out a few things along the way. And yet I'm the corporate trainer for our team here in this space to be able to teach you and mentor you in that space. Just ask the conversation I had with Leah yesterday. And so it is my absolute privilege. It is my absolute blessing. It is my absolute honor to bring Mr. Josh Phelps to the stage here to unpack and deep dive into Ollie life. Mr. Josh Phelps, please turn your camera on, and I'm going to remove my pin here. Let's bring up yours. Hang on.
All right. Can everybody hear me?
Everybody can hear you, yes, but I'm just trying to find you so I can pin you. There you are.
All right.
All
Amazing.
right. There you go.
All right. Well, first off, everyone, welcome out. It is probably a nice afternoon for you where you're at right now. It is
I forgot to mention that.
late night, 2 a.m. over here where I am in the U.S. But there's one thing that I live by. If people that I'm working with are showing up, I'm willing to show up with them. And it doesn't matter what time of day it is. I think we're living in one of the most intriguing times in history right now. And at the same time, I also think we're living in one of the greatest days the world has ever seen. There is a massive awakening that's happening on so many levels. There is a conscious awakening. We're living in the informational age where people are starting to realize just maybe the life that we have been told and the way that it's supposed to be just may not be so. And there may be a much better way to do life, from money, right? All of us grew up, we weren't taught how to be wealthy. We were taught how to go and get a job, right? You go to school, you go to university, you go get a job, you work for 40, 50 years of your life. And then when you're old, you get to retire and you get to live happily ever after. But somehow that dream didn't even work out, as miserable as that sounds to me. You go into stores, Walmart, Target, and there's people in their 80s that are sitting there greeting people because they need a way to make income to be able to pay for their bills, right? We're living in a world right now where there is this awakening happening where people are realizing that money, it's actually more abundant than it's ever been in the world today. But a lot of people are trying to figure out how to get to it. But at the same time, who also agrees there is a massive health awakening that is happening right now? Here in the US, when it comes to terms like biohacking or holistic health, people are starting to realize that we have been indoctrinated and we have been polluted in every aspect of our life. How strange is it that we have chemicals in our food, in our water, in our air? Is anyone else why are we doing that? Anyone else why are you spraying things in the air that gives us problems breathing? Why are you putting random stuff in our food that we're taking? Why is there fluoride and chlorine? Isn't that what Hitler used to weaken the Jews before dealing with all of that? Let's actually take a moment to really become aware. And what I want to do tonight is not present some opportunity. I want you to have an awakening moment in your life, because I feel like that's what's happening in our community right now on every facet of, you could say, the triangle or the spectrum. So I want to give a shout out to Jeff. In his first 26 days, he achieved the rank of Oracle and Aurum. And what's powerful about that is I've watched him night after night, day after day, serving the team. Someone put a 1 in the chat box if Jeff has done something for you, showed up for you, jumped on a call, jumped on a webinar. Maybe you're dealing with stuff personally and he jumped on a call with you just to talk you through it or help you grow and elevate to wherever it is that you're looking to go on your journey. See, this is what community looks like. And I feel like for a long time, we've not really had community. One of the things that I talk about with a lot of powerful people, in terms of powerful people, you could say high influential people, but I believe every person is powerful, right? But in the conversations that I'm having with people right now, I feel like we've all kind of been on our own journey. I know I'm not the only one that feels like I've kind of been alone the last decade, right? There's been people around, but when you're talking about your tribe, when you're talking about your family, so oftentimes I feel like we're carrying all the weight on our own shoulder. And what we want to do is absolutely change that completely, right? Who agrees as a community we can go further than we can ever by ourselves, right? There are laws in the universe that massively display the power of humans coming together, of energy coming together, and mission and vision aligning, and the magical things that happen from that. But here's the reality: having an awakening moment will only do so much for you if you don't have your money and your health right. I know a lot of people that are starting to realize how powerful they are. I know a lot of people that are beginning to awaken to this reality that we're not an accident. We're not a mistake. We're not just randomly passing by every single day with no intention and no purpose. We were actually created from the divine to live a life full of the divine so we could help then awaken everybody else on this journey. But alongside of spirituality, I'm going to give you a very quick synopsis of how I grew up. I grew up in an extremely poor family. I'm an 8th generation minister in my family. What my dad's budget was every month was mission trip to mission trip, and hopefully we can pay the rent in between. I remember very few things in the refrigerator quite often as a kid. And now that I have a daughter that's now 7 years old, I grew up in a trailer in an efficiency apartment. My daughter was born into $1 million penthouse. Quite a different experience. You know, when we're flying around the world, oftentimes I fly first class, especially when my daughter's with me. But let me tell you something that I also do a lot. Not only do we fly first class, but I also talk my daughter through this reality. And I told her, baby girl, the only time that I ever saw first class when I was a kid was when I was headed to the back of the plane and walking through it and looking at everybody being like, well, how did y'all get up here? And dad's like, come on, buddy, we're headed to the back, right? That was my life. But I want to say at the same time, I'm actually grateful for that. Because I know a lot of people that have come from money or have made a lot of money, but they didn't have a foundation. So the money came, but it left just as fast. See, for me, what I had was spiritual grounding. I got to grow up around fathers of the faith, some of the most well-known ministers in the world. That's who I spent time with. And I was extremely blessed to do that as a kid. But then on the flip side of the token, there's also every other flight or every couple flights, because I really don't like sitting in the back of the plane, that I'll actually book our seats towards the back. And one thing that I do with my daughter every time, whether we're sitting in the front or whether we're sitting in the back, I have her go through and say, I'm grateful that we're able to go where we're going and have everything that we have. I do it on purpose. If it was just me flying, I would fly in first class every single time. But having her, I also don't want to raise a spoiled kid that doesn't understand the value of hard work and being appreciative through every season in life, through every moment in life. Because, guys, it hasn't always been sunshine for me. I've gone through journeys as an entrepreneur. I've made millions of dollars, and I've had people that's tried to take millions of dollars from me, right? But at the same time, how amazing it is right now in history where we're bringing together more power and more people in a way that I've never seen happen before. I really believe the greatest revival the world's ever seen is happening, and it looks like this. It doesn't look like sitting in an institutional church and thinking that's the only place that God exists. No, we exist within that divine reality. See, this is where community happens. This is where revival happens. But I want to let you know a secret. God does not want any of us, nor does he desire any of us to have a lack of money, a lack of health, a lack of positive mindset, Like all of these components, I want everyone to write in the chat box and say, I am. All right? I am powerful. I am living a life of abundance. This is what we were created for. And see, what we're doing is we're taking not just theology and good practical beliefs, we're now marrying the whole picture together. And that's what Joseph and I are doing in a really powerful way. Dr. Joseph McClendon III and myself on these Mindset Pro classes that we're hosting, we're going and showing people what it actually looks like to observe the full picture and then step into the most powerful part of yourself so you can have everything that you want. There is no lack in the kingdom, and there is no lack in you. If you are experiencing lack, who understands that that's an amazing opportunity to step back into the world that you were created to be in and always live from? So, what I want to do here tonight is I don't want to go through some crazy presentation. I will pull up a couple slides, but what I want to do is go to the whiteboard. Who agrees sometimes we need to get back to the drawing board? All right. What I would love for all of you to do here tonight is one, please don't draw on this. If you're on your phone, sometimes it can slip up and you can do this, but I want to show you something. We are actually helping people create a life of abundance through a very practical route. See, a lot of people fantasize about success, but they don't do what it takes to be successful. And I'm going to tell you one of the biggest reasons why. Put a one in the chat box if you agree that most people don't know. There's all these courses on YouTube. There's all of these things that you can go watch on Google. There's all these gurus that you can pay all of this money that somehow can teach you something, but people are still finding themselves in a state of struggle. All right? So with that being said, what I want to do today is talk about the wealth circle. Okay? Wealth has a formula to it. Put a 2 in the chat box if you understand that. Wealth has a formula. You're not going to accidentally get rich. I want to be very clear about that. And if you do, you're going to end up probably like most of the people that win the lottery. I don't know if y'all have a lottery in Australia or what all you do in Australia. But what I do know is that here in America, we have this thing called a lottery where people win hundreds of millions of dollars and within the year they're broke again. See, this is because people were never taught about wealth. There's several facets of wealth that's important to note. And one thing that I would like to state is the average millionaire has 3 to 5 sources of income. One thing that I can assure you, if you only have one stream of income, you are sitting in the most disastrous possible situation ever. Put a 1 in the chat box if you understand why. I want you to think about someone that has one leg for a moment. That might be hard to picture or it might not for you. But I want you to see someone standing and they only have one leg. They're missing the other leg, right? If that source of income gets chopped off for any reason, you do understand now the only possible thing that's going to happen next is either you're going to fall on your face or you're going to fall on your ass. That's the only possible outcome that's happening. You're going to fall on your face or you're going to fall on your ass. And see, what's important is we set ourselves up with formulas that work. Now, at the same time, I also want to say this. There are these people online in social media that have this ADHD syndrome when it comes to business, and they think they need to be a part of 10 different opportunities, and they want to go share every single one of them all the time. Put a 2 in the chat box if you know people like that. Every day, there's a new opportunity that you need to be a part of, but they haven't figured out how to make money with the other ones yet either. All right? It is very difficult for me to relate to people like that because while I am absolutely a component of a advocate of having multiple streams of income, having multiple different things that are producing us income, I also understand if you're too scattered, you're never going to make anything because you're just going wide, you're not going deep. And when it comes to money, you don't want to just go wide on a flat level. You want to go deep because that's where you're going to find the wealth. So with that, I want to give you 3 specific things that I want to focus on here tonight. All right. The first one, and I'm going to draw this out. The first one is your money. All right. When it comes to your money, what I want to do, and again, please don't draw on the screen if you wouldn't mind. I really want to make sure that this is very clearly understood here tonight. When it comes to wealth, the first component of wealth is money. Without money, you cannot do anything in the world today. Someone put yes in the chat box if you agree with that. If you don't have money, you are screwed. You will be poor, you will end up homeless, and you're going to end up in a situation that is absolutely devastating. All right? Now, the next component of wealth, and this is very, very important, it's your health. And if you're taking notes, you can do this. All right? The first step of wealth is your money, what you're making. Okay? What you're building. A lot of people know how to make money, but hardly anybody knows how to make a lot of money. And almost nobody knows how to then go multiply their money so it keeps going rather than being in the game of addition. All right? Someone put a 1 in the chat box. Do you agree that making money is great? But put a 2 in the chat box. Do you understand that multiplying your money is even better? So I'm going to talk about each one of these categories tonight. I'm probably not going to go through a presentation. I'll pull up a couple slides to show you what we're doing with Oli Life because it is absolutely game changing. All right. But I want you to understand the reality of what wealth looks like, what abundance looks like. When I say wealth, I'm talking about abundance. Okay. Wealth is your money, wealth is your health. But then also, I want you to understand this. And this is something that a lot of people don't understand. Wealth is your happiness. And by happiness, I'm going to put in parentheses your joy tank, right? Who agrees that happiness and joy is quite different? All right. And in the joy tank is where you find your purpose. Okay. It was for the joy set before him that he endured the cross. He didn't enjoy it, but he endured it because he knew what would come from it. Jeff mentioned something earlier that's extremely important. Anybody that I know, including myself, success comes at a cost. You got to pay to be the boss. And either you're going to work for a boss for the rest of your life, or you're going to become the boss of your own life, right? Someone put CEO in the chat box if you understand that you were created to be the CEO of your life. You can either work for a CEO, or you can figure out how to become the CEO of your life. Jeff will tell you in our corporate structure, while I am the CEO of Freedom Pro, I feel like I've done something that I've never seen an actual corporate structure do. My support staff, our directors, it is my overwhelming mission that they become millionaires just like the highest performers in the field, right? A lot of times, who agrees in a corporate structure, the people that are working the hardest are usually the people that are making the least amount of money. The people that are getting paid hourly, the people that are getting paid a salary. I want to let you know, if you want to ever be wealthy, hourly and salary stands for losing. Now, I don't mean that disrespectful, but I want to explain why. When you accept something that takes up your time when it comes to hourly and salary, someone is paying you a certain amount of money that you're content with, that you would rather serve their dreams than yours. Now, let me say this. Some of you are in your season right now that you have to work that job. Put a 1 in the chat box if that is you. You're working a job right now, and if you quit working that job right now, you would be in a messed up financial situation and you couldn't pay your bills. So hear me on this. There are online marketers and people that I've seen that get like disrespectful about it. If you work a job, you're a loser. If you work a job, you're this. That's nonsense. We understand that there's seasons in life. But one of the biggest things that I work in trying to do is help people realize the season that you're in, it's either going to be a long lasting season, or if you set up your cards properly, it can be a short term season that can help you navigate your life into the one that you actually want to live. And that's what I want to help all of you do here today. When it comes to money, we are crushing it in Aurum. Absolutely crushing it. All right. Between 2 accounts that I have in Aurum, in my first 26 days, I've made over $25,000 just in one company in less than 30 days. And I'm going to give you a little bit of a secret. I have a lot of stuff going on and haven't had a lot of time to commit to it. in terms of what you would normally say would be necessary to create that type of income. All right. Now, here's the crazy part about that. We announced to some of the community, hey, we're also going to be doing this. And put a two in the chat box if you saw some people maybe get a little bit nervous, like, oh my God, are we going to do something else? Well, yes. And let me explain why. When it comes to building wealth, you need to have a portfolio or a diversified situation that can actually help you create wealth. Okay? Health was something that 3 years ago absolutely devastated me because I never prioritized it. Now, I've always been pretty much in shape. You know, I grew up as an athlete. I had scholarships to go play baseball. Up until I had my daughter, I had a six pack, if not an eight pack. Now, after that, I was making a ton of money and I got quite comfortable and I did gain some weight. But you know what I did? I got rid of it because I got tired of looking like that. You know, I was never overly out of shape, but I value that. But here's what happened. What got worse was I had an autoimmune situation that started messing with me where I had a massive breakout when it came to eczema. I don't know how much you know about eczema, but I'll tell you this. My skin started getting extremely red and would itch to high heaven to the point that I would just want to scrape my skin off. And what I did was I went to the doctor because isn't that what you're supposed to do when you have a health problem? Go see the doctor. Now, I don't know what's happening in Australia, but in America, healing is not something that is actually a priority. In America, we have the big medical, big pharma complex here. All right. So let me tell you what they told me to do. They said, actually, you're fine. I'm looking at myself in the mirror and I'm like, I don't feel fine. I look terrible. And I'm on stages all the time speaking. And, you know, I've always been super in shape. My skin's always been flawless. You would almost think, like when I was 27, 28, I'm getting ID'd everywhere that I go. You know, like just looked extremely young. But in this process, it got to a place where they did something. They prescribed me steroids. And at that point, I didn't know enough about the side effects of steroids. So I started applying the steroids on my face every single day, on the parts in my arms, my legs, right? I started using it all the time. About 6 months later, who's ever heard of steroid withdrawals? If you haven't, go search it on Google. Steroid withdrawals, where your body starts needing that steroid so bad that it begins to just crack and bleed intensely. There were months that I didn't leave the house because I was so ashamed of how bad my face looked. I'm talking about months. And every day, like guys, when I say my skin was raw, it was freshly raw. All on my back, all on my neck, all over my face. When I went and stayed in Airbnbs, at some point I'm going to actually share this story and I'm going to show the documentation of it as well. I had Airbnbs trying to charge me an extra cleaning price because there was blood on the sheets. Like it got to a point that I was like, this is actually really insane how I went from living a life where I was never concerned about my health because I had it to at one moment, it all changed. So about 3.5 years ago, I became extremely health conscious. Now I'm in the hyperbaric chamber 2 to 3 times a week. I do acupuncture. I do red light, green light therapy. I've done OV, UV, blue light therapy, which is where they pull your blood out, they oxygenate it, they purify it, and they put it back into your body so it can actually heal. So a lot of people don't know the journey that I've actually been on because I really never shared it with people because I didn't want everybody to know my problems. I've always been the person that I would rather help you through your problems. I'm not the one to overload and pour my problems onto you because most people are struggling enough in themselves and they don't need my problems. Right. And I'm also not the one that's looking for sympathy because sympathy doesn't heal anything. So for me, I said, all right, either I'm going to do something about this and radically shift my life, or I'm going to be in a very difficult situation. I had 7 figures in the bank, but I could barely get out of bed because of how I felt. Who agrees that wealth without health is very devastating? So I've lived both sides of it. 7 figures in the bank, but losing my health to a point that I couldn't get out of the bed. I couldn't go outside and play with my daughter because I was hurting so much. And as a father, Those of you that don't know me, I think I'm one of the coolest dads in the world. I live to make her smile. I live to run around, chase her, play, whatever. And the beauty of it is, I don't go work a job at some office, so I get to be with her all the time. So that was me. I'm the fun dad. I'm the dad that everybody talks about all the time. Like, he is the best dad, and that's the best compliment I could ever get, right? But alongside of this journey, it was amazing the healing that started happening. But it's still a process today. My skin still gets red. Jeff was out with me in LA. I'm still in a process of healing and working through this. But with this technology that I'm going to share with you here in just a second, I want you to understand it shifted everything for me. But before I talk about the technology, I want to show you something. All right. I believe documentation beats conversation. And I also want to say this: I am not showing you this because I want you to be impressed with me. Quite frankly and respectfully, I really don't give a shit. All I want to do is inspire you to be the best person that you could possibly be and give you the tools so you can live your dreams. My dreams and your dreams may be very different, but I believe together we can accomplish both. Okay. So in Aurum, we have been crushing it, right? Jeff's made 15,000. One of my other people's made 15,000. Other people are making thousands of dollars weekly. Like, it's beginning to expand. We've had 900 people join in the last 26 days, and I've not done one public marketing post yet. Now, many of you are starting to share, but do you understand what's about to happen in that program alone? We'll go to 10,000 people in the next 60 days easily, because I'm about to get loud with what's happening there. But now on the flip side, I want to show you something. In Oli Life, this is a $1 billion company. I've been looking at this company since October. I want you to pay close attention to this. This is what the update was as of tonight, and that was since January 18th. So in 12 days of working in this company, I've made over $39,000. Now, let me say this. Aurum and these are side projects for me. I own my own company, Freedom Pro. We have 20,000 plus affiliates in the company. So in two side projects, I've made over $60,000 in a little over 20 days, 20, 25, 26 in Aurum, and just under 12 days with Oli Life. Now, what's impressive about this is that I'm not the only one that's making crazy money. Who agrees sometimes the biggest leaders, they always make money? Put a 1 in the chat box, right? You always assume the person on stage, the person that's already made millions of dollars, already has a huge company. Of course they're going to be successful, right? If LeBron James goes and plays for another team, even as old as he is, who agrees he's still going to be good wherever he goes, right? If Steph Curry goes from playing at Golden State to playing for the Miami Heat, you know that he's going to be successful there too. It's inevitable. But now this is what I will tell you that has changed the game. What I have become a master at is not making money by myself and for myself. It's helping everyone else around me make money they've never made before. And this is where the magic happens. Jim Rohn said, if you help enough people get what they want in life, you can have everything that you want in life. And you can use that as a selfish thing, which I promise it will not yield the results that you want to see. If you're only helping people only for your benefit, that is not the most beautiful way that you can live. When you become a person that you truly become a servant-hearted individual, where even if this didn't benefit me, I still would help you, you will be amazed at the miracles and blessings that will start to manifest in your own life. When it's truly about the betterment of humanity, right? And everybody has to make money. So let me make this very clear. I'm definitely not saying that that's not still priority important. If you can't take care of yourself, you can't take care of anybody else because you can't give what you don't have. We understand that, right? So with that being said, I do want to talk about Oli Life tonight and the reason why it's important. What I have found through what we're doing is with Aurum, we're making money through the partner program and we're multiplying our money. But someone put a 1 in the chat box, you understand a lot of people don't have a lot of capital. So let's look at the statistics right now of people's financial situation. The majority of people around the globe have less than $1,000, $10,000 in the bank in available access to them. And let's certainly not dive into the amount of debt that people go into using credit cards. All right. So for me, I'm a very practical individual. I'm not here to sell you on anything. I'm here to show you the reality. You make a decision if this is something that fits your life and you can see massively upgrade your life, because that's what it's done for me. Our company's already done 8 figures plus in what we've made, right? In Freedom Pro. But now we have these different components that we can help our community fix the capital problem. See, making money's great, but a lot of people don't make a lot of money. And even within Aurum, I want you to understand, unless you really start building and running fast, it does take a little time to really start hitting 10,000 plus dollars in income. You got to get to the race. You got to get and start having movement in your business. It can happen and it will happen, but it's just the reality of understanding what's on the table and where and how to properly access it and delegate what you need to do to get where you're looking to go. So I want to jump into this. Now, with Oli Life, this is a company that's already $1 billion company. I've been talking longer than I thought I did, but I've really just felt on my heart that we really need to have a heart-to-heart conversation. It's 2 a.m. and late at times in the night and in the morning. This is where I spend a lot of time with God, and I have my conversations because my daughter's asleep and I can finally just relax. So in this, I want to show you what this has done for me. This is something beyond what it's done financially for me. It's helped me reawaken hope in people's life. Over the last week alone, testimony after testimony after testimony of how this certified technology. Now, I'm not talking about a product that's being sold from Alibaba, all right? Some random cheap product that's being sold with a huge markup so we can make a bunch of money, but it's actually not having impact. I'm talking about every certification that's needed from the US, from Australia, from Asia, from Europe. All of the certifications needed is already there. Now, this is one of the unique things about this company. They're already $1 billion company. Who agrees it's not every day you get invited to $1 billion company at the very start of their company? Think about that with me. Usually when a company's hit $1 billion, you would think that they've hit their stride and they've hit momentum. That's not the case with this. This company's only been opened in Asia. They're headquartered in Singapore and China. They're opening up offices in America, Japan, Canada, and we're going to continue to expand around the world. Now, in their first 2.5 years, they're already ranked in the top 15 in the global direct sales industry. Now, this is AI-powered wellness technology. I told you a little bit about my health for this reason. My family owns one of the biggest wellness clinics in Alabama. I'm a partner in a hyperbaric chamber company based out of Georgia. And this is something that is absolutely one of my obsessions, helping people begin to heal. It's amazing helping people make money. Actually, this company, this is a slide that I need to update. They're already doing over 80 million a month. What we thought happened was that they only created 217 millionaires, but the number has just come out since December of 2022 up until now, the end of January. Here's today's the 31st where I'm at it in the US, and it probably is the night of the 31st where you guys are in Australia right now. There hasn't been just 217 millionaires created. There's been over 500 millionaires created. Who agrees in a short time that that is a very significant situation? And just this one company. See, we're going to create thousands of millionaires, but through the diversification. Now, people and tons of people will make millions with us in this company too. But again, I don't want you to become just a person that's just thinking about this company or this company. I want you to think about how this and that can give you tools in your tool bag so you can go and build the house and life that you dream. That's how I view business. I'm building a house. I'm building a dream. What tools do I need? Who agrees that using a hammer and a nails is a little bit outdated? When you think about building, there's nail guns. There's new technology now. Same thing. All right. Instead of just dealing with the symptoms when it comes to your health, what if you could actually go and deal with the root cause? Who understands taking medication will never heal you? It's the truth. It's an unfortunate truth because think about how many trillions of dollars is made in that industry. But I want you to see what's happening here with this technology. Jeff was saying in the first day, he could feel something. One of our ladies, Miss Diana Hartway, she has arthritis in her knees and her feet. And literally within a matter of 48 hours, she went from literally having massive pain in her knees and in her feet not being able to do squats, not being able to do the things that she loves to do at the same desire capacity that she used to once be able to do it, to now, she literally said that today, which was yesterday, it was the first time in years that when she got out of bed, she didn't have pain when her feet hit the floor. Oftentimes, we overlook stuff like that. But do you understand how many people are dealing with sickness and maybe they haven't even told you? Or pain becomes something that we just accept because we don't want to gripe about it. We don't want to complain about it. And you don't want to tell everybody your problems. But oftentimes, how many times do you see people limping or just even, your back hurts, right? It's insane. Health has not been a focus. So now PEMF, this is pulsed electromagnetic field therapy. What this was originally designed for was by NASA to actually help when the astronauts came back from space or whatever the heck that NASA has going on. I don't know, and I don't claim to be an expert there. I got some questions. All right. But with that being said, they were one of the first people that really dove deep into this technology. And what this company has done is all of the four owners behind this company, they're worth 9 figures and 10 figures, which means they're worth hundreds of millions of dollars or they're already a billionaire. And these gentlemen collectively have come together almost like an Elon Musk, if you want to put an intelligence kind of situation together when it comes to wealth. And they said, we want to heal the world. But see, with owning clinics and with investing a lot into clinics, what I have found is most health technology is extremely out of price for the average person. Who agrees with that? Now, you can go buy some aspirin for cheap, but when it comes to actually things that could heal you, like the hyperbaric chamber, I pay $250 every session. I do 10 sessions a month. That's $2,500 a month. That's $30,000 a year for one thing. Who agrees most people can't afford $30,000 a year to go deal with their health? Hell, some people don't make $30,000 in the year. This is a reality, and they sure can't put it towards their health. See, what I love about this is the first time that this level of technology that's certified, patented, is now being made available to the masses at the most affordable prices I've ever seen. I have to be very blunt with you, which I always am. It's the only way I know how to live. You either love me or you don't, but it is what it is. All right? I actually was skeptical because of how inexpensive these products were. When my buddy Rafal told me about it, and he was like, dude, it's only 1,000, 1,500. Some of the products are 500. I was like, that doesn't work. I spent 75 grand on the last red light therapy that we added in our clinic. What do you mean? $1,500 and people are having this type of experience and healing. I don't think it's possible. As open-minded as I am, I was skeptical. So I don't blame people for initially resulting to skepticism. But at the same time, I didn't stay in a state of ignorance. I did my due diligence and found out what was happening. And I encourage every person to also go down that route. All right. So with this technology, what it's doing is it's helping you heal from a cellular level. When it comes to PEMF, what it's doing is it's sending pulses, an electromagnetic field through your body that's actually helping reset. If you've read my book, it's called The Great Reset. This is also a big component of it. The same way that you need to reset your mind, you need to reset your health. If you're on this phone every day, do you understand how much frequency and signal is coming off of this? It's not good. It's actually terrible for you. I fly in airports all the time. Luckily, I have my daughter, so I don't have to go through that deadgum scanner anymore, right? Because when you're with the kids, you can go through the other line that you just have to walk through the metal detector. But even when you do that and you go through the scanner, do you understand how much frequency is hitting your body when they're scanning that? Everything we're doing, we're being polluted and filled with chemicals. This is changing that completely. So the P90 and P90 Plus, what it's doing is it's supporting comfort immediately. You're going to begin to realize that your energy is different. Why? Because your cells are able to now rejuvenate and be reset to the state that they were created to be in. Who agrees God didn't create any of us to be sick? And I also want to go on the record and say this because I've heard a lot of people say it. God does not give sickness either. If you're dealing with sickness, I need you to understand it did not come from God. Someone put a 1 in the chat box. You understand that God is good all the time. He is love and he is light. There is no darkness in him, so he cannot give you something that then you would ask him to heal you of. That would be quite manipulative, dare I say, demonic, And at the same time, it just wouldn't make sense. He can only give you what he has, which is love, light, peace, joy. Everything good comes from him. Nothing bad, right? How many people have been told, like, well, the Lord sent that storm in my life to teach me a lesson? This isn't a theology class, but I am going to give you this note. If God sent the storm, when Jesus rebuked the storm, he would have been rebuking the will of his Father. And who remembers what Jesus said? I only say and do what I see my Father saying and doing. So let's pay a little attention. There's a little nugget for you that you can take home tonight that maybe will inspire your heart and have an amazing encounter with love. All right. But what this is doing is it's encouraging natural fat burning. It's going in cellular wise and rejuvenating. I'm not talking about just sweating in a sauna. I used to spend hours a week going and sitting in a sauna, sweating my butt off. And all that does is help you lose calories. It doesn't actually go through and heal you on a cellular level. That's why there's a lot of people that do all this workout, but they still can't lose the stubborn fat that they have in their body. But beyond weight loss, it's actually going in and completely rejuvenating and resetting what has gone wrong in our body that needs to be reset. All right. So the P90 was the original product that they start with, and then they started adding more. Now, one of the things that I deal with as well is when it comes to eye problems. Because of my eczema, somehow it also activated this thing in my eyes that I have inflammation all the time, right? And also, even with my eyesight, when it happened, that my eyesight started getting worse. This is a game changer with what we have with this technology. Right now, there's over 2 billion people that are living with preventable issues when it comes to eye straining and problems with sight, glaucoma, right? Floaters in your eyes, losing eyesight, and now it's getting worse every year. If you stare at this thing every day, you do understand that it is going to continue to go in that direction unless we do something about it. So I don't want to go too deep here today, but what I do want to show you is we have some of the most game-changing technology. And also what Jeff can do is I have a presentation that I did that goes in depth through every single one of the products, what it is. You can hear real life testimonies of people that are using this, but I want to keep moving forward here tonight. This is a game changer. Now, the last one that I'm going to highlight is this. Most people struggle with their body looking the way that they want it to look. What this technology has done is called the Shaken Massager, PMF at its finest. It's PMF, red light, dynamic massage, radio frequency, high vibration, all right, when it comes to heat therapy and ultrasound, which is helping you reshape your body sculpting it. And women that have cramps during that time of the month, it also has a heat setting, and this helps with gut health as well. Because this is actually going through and penetrating into your body 3 to 5 centimeters, where it's breaking up the visceral fat, but it's now helping that detoxify and flush through your body rather than just stay there. All right. So let me show you something. And guys, will you give me 10 more minutes? I need 10 more minutes of your time. And I feel like I need to go to sleep more than you guys do. It's 3 a.m. over here right now. All right. But I want 10 more minutes. What I love about this side is this is a place that can become an absolute cash cow for you by helping people heal. When I said that this has brought me joy, like very few things I've ever done, it's one thing that you're doing something that's making people money. And I'm talking about a lot of money. People their first week making thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. And that's why this is a perfect partnership with Aurum, who understands if you have more capital, it makes multiplication go faster and further, right? 10% of $100 is $10. 10% of $10,000 is $1,000. Who would rather have 1,000 rather than 10? So let's think practically. 10% of $100,000. Who agrees that goes further than 10% of 1,000? So this is why having capital is needed. With this business, you can build a capital cash farm. All right? 39,000 I've made in one position. And I have multiple, let me say that, but in one position. Between my other position and the main one that I have, I've made over $50,000 in 12 days in one company. $50,000. And this isn't my full-time job. I still have one. I own my own company. But in this, what is very special is there is no auto ships. There is no subscriptions. How many people fall out of businesses because they have to keep paying monthly? Let's think about this. So now what we're doing is we're using this as a way to take our community further, like Joseph says, faster. Build your health and build your wealth at the same time and use this as one channel of income. The entry price is $1,000 at the minimum. You can have this product be used by your entire family. It's a global business. There is no country restrictions. Someone write global in the chat box for me. It's one thing to have a local business. It's another thing to have a global business. All right. And daily payout and high retention and satisfaction. Guys, I have celebrity after celebrity after influencer, people that usually only get paid to endorse products that are paying to use this, and they're sharing it out of the goodness of their heart in passion and desire. All right. So there's three ways that you can get in this: $1,000 worth of products, $2,000 worth of products, or $6,000 worth of products. Where you get in determines what you're able to make. All right. There's 7 ways to earn. There is no joining fee for the business. The example I make all the time: imagine if you went to Apple and you bought an iPhone, but Apple gave you a business because you bought an iPhone. Someone put a 1 in the chat box if that would have been exciting. I've been buying Apple since it came out with the first iPhone. Okay. Now, with this side, you're not paying to be a part of a business. You're paying to get wellness technology that is absolutely life-changing, like nothing else. It's not a product. It's not a supplement. It's not the lotions, the potions. It's real technology that major institutions are using. Major medical universities are talking about it. Major sports teams, they're using this technology. I want you to type in PEMF in Google tonight and type in Harvard, type in Johns Hopkins University. Like, look at the major people that are talking about the results of PEMF. This isn't some new thing. It just hasn't been available to the masses because it's been unaffordable. All right. So a huge opportunity sitting here. And we're at the very beginning of what is about to be a $10+ billion a year company. If you could be a part of a 10X, someone put 10X in the chat box if you want to be a part of that. They're doing over $1 billion in Asia alone. And here they are. We're opening it up in Australia right now. We're opening it up in North America, Europe, in Africa, in South America. We are the ones building this now outside of Asia. So you're in a special position. I'm going to go through this extremely fast right now because we've been on this call a while and I talked more than I thought I would, but I just felt in my heart that we need to have some of these conversations. Someone put a 1 in the chat box if you've never seen a comp plan that pays you off your upline. Most every comp plan I've ever seen pays you off your what? Downline. What the upline does is for the upline. What the downline does is what benefits the upline, right? In this situation, where you get started is important for this reason. What the company has done is when you get started at 1,000, 2,000, or 6,000, they will let you make in a team bonus up to 3 times the price that you spent to get profitable. If you start at 1,000 on this bonus, you can earn up to 3,000. You start at 2,000, you can earn up to 6,000. You start at 6,000, you can earn up to 18,000. It's called a team bonus. I call it the upline bonus. When your upline gets paid, let's say that he made $1,000, the person to the left and the person to the right, they're going to make $50 off that 1,000. All right. Let's do some math real quick. In the last 12 days, I've made over $39,000. So what has the person to the right and left made off of me? Can y'all see my screen? So without making a single sell, the person to the right and the person to the left has literally cleared nearly $2,000 already because of the work that I've done. Someone put a 222 in the chat box if that's an exciting situation. And here's the beautiful part. It's going to continue to grow because both of my people, they started with the bigger packages. Why? Because that makes sense. If money's on the table, who agrees you want to get it? Now, on the flip side, if you're in a place that you don't have a lot of money right now and it's a difficult time, what I want to say to you is at least get in the game where you can. If you can't afford 2,000 or 6,000 right now, I promise you the last thing that Jeff and I or my team would ever do is tell you that you shouldn't be a part of it because you can only come in at 1,000. If you can only come in at that, start there. If you can do more than that, I'm also the person that says, do you want to get the minimum or do you want to be on the path to get the maximum? I'm always a person that wants to get the most out of any situation possible. Okay. Now, this is how it works from a direct sales. 75% of every dollar that goes in gets paid out to the field. That's also insanely generous. When Trump and China was having this massive trade war and they added the tariffs to China, and I'm talking about some crazy tariffs, the company absorbed the price. They didn't raise the price, they didn't increase the shipping, and they didn't take away from the compensation plan. They ate it. Who agrees that's extremely generous? Because usually, most every other company would raise their price, so they're not losing. The company has enough money. The owners are already wealthy. They can do it. So if you sell $1,000 product or $1,000 worth of products, that's 750 PV, you earn $75. 2,000, 150. 6,000, do the math, that's $450 that you earn. Now, this is where I want to show you. This is how I've made the majority of my money the last 12 days. Remember earlier when I said you don't want to just go wide in life when it comes to your wealth, you want to go deep? It's the same thing with this situation. Now, pay close attention. When you sell and you get one person on your right and on your left, you're going to activate what's called the tier bonus. One thing that's very intriguing about this is there is no cap on this bonus. As deep as it goes, this is a bonus that as long as you have someone on the left and someone on your right, you start the bonus structure of the tier bonus. If it's a $1,000 package, you make $375. If it's $2,000, $6,000, you make more. But listen, when a person's on the right and the person's on the left, you could have not even sponsored that person, but your first sale always goes left. So the company has actually set it up in your favor that every sale must go left. So they're actually promoting this bonus and structuring it for your benefit. So if you didn't know it, now you do. Check this out. When the right side gets someone on their left, because they have to, don't we know that that person, when they make a sell, it also has to go down to the left? So check this out. Someone put a 6 in the chat box for me. If you get started at a $1,000 package and you have 6 people, 3 on the left, 3 on the right, 1 at the top right, then the other 2 on the left-right side, right? You're now profitable in your business. We're helping people do this the first 24, 48, 72 hours. I'm not interested in you just joining and just having an increase of your health, as much as that is very vital and very important. What we're doing is we're giving you the opportunity to really begin to make serious money, but get profitable as fast as possible. Someone wave at me if you agree that being profitable is a very important part of business, because nobody is trying to be in business unless you're in charity to just give it all away or not make money. All right. So with this, I want you to check this. Every time this happens, unlimited levels deep on the right and on the left, there's no flush. Who understands most binary compensation plans? If you know compensation plans, they flush the volume every month and you have to start over the next month. With this, it continues to accumulate because there is no subscription. All right. This is unlimited levels, no country restrictions. If you go down 100 levels on the right and on the left, and it keeps flowing 100 levels down, you're making $37,500 just in this bonus. 1,000 levels, over $375,000. Now, my question was, what happens if they buy the $2,000 package? Do we get $375 or do we get more? On the right and left, if you add 2,000, you don't make $375, you make $750 every time there's 2,000, 2,000. Who agrees that's insane? You get 6 people that get the $2,000 package each. You just made all your money back just in this bonus with 6 people. And you may have only gotten 1 on each side. And so happened because you got in with Jeff, you got in when we're having just the start of our momentum. You're having people fall in your downline. Guys, we have been having people that have $100,000+ in sales in their teams that's just getting started. In 8 days, my team has done over $800,000 in sales before I've done one public post. Do you understand what's about to happen here? You don't want to miss out on this momentum. All right? 6,000, 6,000 on each side. If it's matching, that's a $2,250 bonus you make every time that happens. What a lot of people are doing is starting at 2,000. Jeff did this actually. He started at 2,000. I did it the same with the Visionary Club position, right? Made money in commissions and then upgraded to the $6,000 package. Didn't even come out of pocket any more money, but used the commissions from the comp plan to get more product, but then that set us up to make more money. Now, one thing that I want to show you quickly. All right. I come from a preacher family. I need 10 more minutes. I promise. 10 more minutes. All right. And we will be done. All right. How many times you been to church? I need 10 more minutes. I got one more thing.
Oh, I
I
love you,
can't help.
Father. I love
Okay.
you.
It's in my blood. All right. But listen to this. Let's say that you had 1,000 on one side and then 2,000 on the other side. What do you get paid? All right. You're always getting the lower package value. So if it's 1,000 on one side, 2,000, you're going to make that $375 bonus. But when that person upgrades from 1,000 to 2,000, you're then going to get an additional $375 bonus. So now you actually got the full 750. Does that make sense? Thumbs up. So extremely powerful. Now, the question is, why would people upgrade beyond what they got started with? You may be asking that question right now. And ding, 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 you found the answer really fast. Okay. In the group sales bonus, this is the binary compensation side of it. Now, this pays out daily. Everything we're doing, we're seeing daily accumulation. So this is huge. Now, how does it work with this bonus? Whatever your lesser leg of volume is, if you have $1,000 package, you're making 11% per day for every sale that goes in your lesser leg. So let's say that you had 10 sales on the right, but only 5 sales on the left. So if that was your weaker leg total, you would make 11% of whatever those 5 sales accumulated to on the PV side of things, but you're capped at $1,000 a day on a $1,000 package. At $2,000 worth of product that you purchase, and you can upgrade at any time. The team bonus, the upline bonus, that's your initial package. You can never change that. What you start with, that bonus is locked in. You start at 1,000, you can make 3,000, 2,000, 6,000, 6,000, 18,000. Everyone understand that? But now in this side, you can upgrade at any time so you can make more money. So ding, ding, ding. Why would people want to upgrade? One, they're going to want more technology because these are amazing things that we have here genuinely. And then number two, you want to make more money. At $6,000, you're capped out at $7,000 a day. Someone put yes in the chat box if you would not be offended by 210,000 in just one bonus monthly. And it pays every single day based off of the sales coming into your business. Now, let's talk about lifetime income. This was one of the things that stood out to me. All of us that have worked jobs, we know that if we don't show up, we don't get paid. Who agrees with that? We know that to be true. In this situation, and understand when I say this, the company's taking 5% of the global revenue. Last year, that was over $50 million sitting in the pool. So who agrees that's not a little bit of money that's sitting around? And it's not just a hopeful one day this company may be big, so you should buy in now. No, it's already a billion-dollar company. We're playing big ball here. This is the big leagues at a very inexpensive price to be a part, which is also very uncommon. All right. So with that, they take 5% of the company annual revenue and they share it with everybody that has hit at least the first rank and above. Now, let me tell you several things. As long as you sell and sponsor at least one person a year, you're eligible to get paid for life once you have hit the first rank and above. Who's ever been in a company and you hit a rank and then you derank because people fell off? You can't derank in this compensation plan. What they've done is they said, as long as you make one sale a year, you qualify to get paid every single year for the rest of your life, and you can pass the business on. So who agrees legacy is important? Joseph said legacy isn't when you die and you walk out of the room, but at the same time, legacy is also what you build for your family and the structure that you set moving forward for your life now and then also for when you're gone. Okay? 14 people at $1,000 packages on each side will get you to the first rank of M1, which gives you one share of that pool. Who likes the power of multiplication? I do. Now, I'm going to show you what having more products, say $2,000 does, is it divides those numbers by 2. So if you have $2,000 packages on each side, instead of it taking 14 on each side, it would only take 7. Jeff hit it his first 48 hours while still working with all of you in Aurum. So this isn't like, oh, I can only do this, I can't do this. No, this is everything. Aurum doesn't have anything for anybody's health. We're just multiplying our money and telling people that they can go and do the same completely passively. With this is active until people start running, and then it can become very passive for you as well. Okay? Once you then go up through these numbers, and I'm going to keep rolling tonight just for the sake of time, I want you to see the power of why you should be sharing this with people. The coaching bonus is also one of the biggest bonuses. Who's ever heard of a check match? Could you imagine at your job if you got one of your friends hired, you got a check match off of what they made? Who agrees you would tell more people about that job more than likely? Or, quite frankly, we would say, screw that job, let's go get wealthy with this. All right? Either way it is, I want to show you the power of this. Even if you aren't earning in the binary, let's say that maybe you only built one leg. There's a gentleman that goes by the name of Francis. He's from Asia. He sponsored two of the biggest leaders that have now developed in the company. One's making 400,000 a month, the other one's making several 100,000 a month, and they have built a massive team. But Francis did something that is very weird to me. He never built out his right leg. So all these bonuses that I've told you about thus far, he wasn't getting paid on any of them because he only built his left leg and then didn't sponsor anybody on the right. Put a 1 in the air if you think that's stupid. Right? Why wouldn't you put someone on the right, Francis? It's not very smart. Let me tell you what Francis is making a month. He's making over $125,000 because of this bonus. And he didn't build the other side of the business. When I tell you that there's money at every angle that you look at with this company, I've never seen a comp plan like that. And I will say this very humbly. I am an absolute expert when it comes to numbers, compensation, and building businesses. I genuinely am. And I say that with all humility because what I desire to do is to teach everybody what I know so you can replicate it and take a shortcut, which took me years to learn, which now you can jump in and take advantage of immediately. Pay attention. Everyone that you personally sponsor, what they make in this global sales bonus every single day, you're getting a check match off of this bonus. So if you got people capped out at 1,000, 2,000, or 7,000, who agrees if you personally sponsor them, you want them to have the most possible? Because at 1, it sets them up to make the most amount of money. But then 2, it sets you up to get the biggest check match possible. Now look at this. Everybody you personally sponsor, what they make daily on the binary commissions, the group sales bonus, you make 10% on all of your personals. Your personal does not mean it's the one that's top to you right and left. Your personal simply means that you sponsored them and they ended up somewhere in the organization. Every check that they get on the group sales bonus, you make 10%. If your person made 3,000 today, you made 300. If they made 3,000 this month, you made 300. Now, levels 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, you get a 5% check match on. Can you guys begin to imagine what it's going to look like when we have people making 7 figures a year and you're making check matches off of them? 10%, 5%, 5%. And guess what? There is no cap on that bonus. 10% level 1, 5% level 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Massive. Now, the company's also developing more technology. They are the Apple of wellness technology. When you see their China office that they have, they're opening one in the US later on this summer, going into the fall. It looks just like Apple, but it's wellness. It's not iPhones and iMacs. One of the newest products that's coming out this year is the Oli Spring water machine. Now, when I saw a water machine, put a 2 in the chat box if you've seen a lot of different type of water filtration systems. There's a bunch of them that are sold. You can go on Amazon and get them. Now, let me tell you what stood out to me. Number one, it's inspired. And when you look at the filtration system, it's absolutely mind-blowing and one of the most brilliant technologies that's ever existed. But it's inspired by Arctic cold water purity. It dispenses both hot water and cold water. But this is where it is absolutely game-changing. How many people know that our body is not all the same? What your body needs is not the same as the person sitting next to you or the person you're looking at on the Zoom call. Everybody's body's different. So what they give you with this is the Oli watch that you see on the left side of your screen. You put that on, and utilizing artificial intelligence and technology, it actually reads your wellness profile and it monitors your vitals and the exact formulation of water based off minerals and everything There's over 1,000 different ways that it will dispense the water and perfectly put it together based off of what your body needs to be the most hydrated. And it's doing that based off of reading your vitals. Who agrees you would have never even thought about that? When I saw that, I said, "Are you serious? That's insane." Who knows people that have high blood pressure? If you're drinking water that has a lot of minerals, it spikes your blood pressure. Now, with this technology, it does perfectly exactly what your body needs. So there's several things that I want to highlight, and I am absolutely on time right now with ending this with what I said the last 10 minutes. Okay. This is a moment for our community that we can come together and win in a way like I've never seen before. From our wealth, from our health, and from building a community where we're upgrading mindset in a way that I've also never seen before. We are creating the revival that is happening in the world. Now, I'm not the one to say we're the only ones doing it because that would be a far fetched lie. But what I am saying is I love the way we're doing it because it's inspiring people in a way that I've never seen the church be able to do. One thing that the church has sucked at is money. They're great at asking for it, they suck at helping people get it. And I've actually been talking to a lot of pastors for a long time and saying, hey, the days of asking people for tithes and offerings are over. They can't fricking afford their bills. How are they going to help you take care of yours? The church was always meant to be a place of resource, not a place of taking. We've messed it up. But here's the good news. We're going to do it the right way together as a community. And we're going to help people all around the globe. We're going to find you where you're at, and we're going to help lead you where you are desiring to go and what you deserve to experience in your life. What this does more than anything, and Jeff, I'm going to pass it back to you here, is this upgrades the quality of life in a tremendous and powerful way. Your mind, your health, and your wealth. And through those things upgrading, it massively refills and resets your joy tank. And I tell you right now, there's a lot of miserable people on this planet right now, full of anxiety, full of depression. Suicide is at an absolute high like we've never seen in the world today. And who agrees maybe all that people really needed was a community that they could grow with? And that's the crazy part. And what we're going to do is become what the world needs and show the world how to get what all of us were created for. Last sentence, and I'll pass it to you, Jeff. You don't get in life what you deserve. You get in life what you demand and you make happen. So, with that being said, I love you all. I'm so thankful for what this community is doing. But ultimately, I have to say that this is just the beginning. We want you to run with
Amen.
us. But either way, we're here to support you and we're here to grow with everyone that desires to grow. You either evolve with the times or you get left behind. And I'm going to tell you right now, no matter how much I love you, I can't afford to stay behind for anybody because there's too many people that needs help. So with that being said, Jeff, back to you, my brother. I'm proud of you. Thank you for everything that you do in this community. And team, let's freaking change the world. Our time is now. Jeff, back to you, sir.
Josh, first off, man, thank you. Just thank you. Like it's close to 3:30 in the morning for you, over in East Coast of America, and you've just poured out your heart to us, and giving us an awakening moment. And guys, if you haven't got his book yet, make sure you go to Amazon and get The Great Reset. I've read a lot of personal and spiritual development books. This one just takes everything to the next deeper level. A lot of books there, they just just give you enough, just give you the surface, just give you a taste of what's possible. Josh's book actually just unlocked. I actually remember our conversation in LA. You said you're going to give me the keys to the kingdom, right? And basically the keys are in our hands now. We have the keys to our success, and all you got to do is just turn the key and start the engine. That's what you need to do, right? It's faith plus action where the miracle results work. And I'm really appreciative of you, Josh, for everything that you do to serve this amazing community at all hours of the spectrum. And guys, the time is now. As Josh has said, I can remember it clearly at Atlanta when I first got him to see him present. Freedom is calling. All you have to do is go grab it and run with it. The choice is yours. So I've dropped a couple of messages there. Make sure you reach out to the person who has invited you to this call. We want to make sure we're honoring the ecosystem when we're running this together. We're creating a community that's full of generosity, where we're generous with our time, talents, and treasures, and we're all helping each other to step up and get paid and get promoted. Because when we know do that, Some people stay and they'll play with us. And then this is where that wealth creation ecosystem comes together. You've heard our heart, you've heard the mission. The mission is quite simple. We're here to go make 1,000 millionaires. Do you want to be one of them? Drop a one in the comments. If you do, reach out to the person who invited you to this call, get plugged into the system, but don't just get plugged in, play full out. The time of spectators is over. We need participation, we need players in the game. And we've already got an amazing team running. In just over 3 weeks, we've got over 800 people who have joined our Aurum team. Now, let's go multiply that by 10. I really believe we'll see that number in the next 30 days. We're going to have 8,000 people. Now, you are part of the first 1,000 to come join us with Aurum. If you're not already in, you need to be in. You can get in as less than $120, but I recommend that you probably start at 1,000 or five, but you get in where you fit in. Right. And then if you're not in with Ollie Life, you need to come, play the double play with us. Even if you don't know anything about health, I don't. I said to Josh, I never want to belong to a product based business, but I get the play. I get the double play strategy here. And it's all about placement. It's all about proximity. And it's all about one heart, one mind, one spirit, one team. And let's go build this together. Let's go create that wealth ecosystem. The world is starving for truth. The world is starving for love. All you need to do is step in and be part of that story to help heal and transform the world. So, Josh, thank you for everybody who's been here and just spent the last hour and 20 minutes with us. We appreciate you. We're just your guides on this journey. You are the heroes. We're just the hero makers, but we want to help you set up and help you to become the hero maker too. So, come on, guys, let's go. All you need to do is just get plugged in, get yourself set up, run with the community. We've got all the tools, we've got all the systems, we've got all the support in the world that you need. We just need you to take massive action. Thanks for your time. We'll see you on the next call.
Let's go. Don't be late to the party. Every single day, there's leverage on the table in your favor being early. We'll see you inside. Let's go.